distinction. What about the claims of Islamophobia? Are Muslims being unfairly persecuted and discriminated against in this country?
You believe Islam is a religion of peace?
You know, thank God, I've been lucky. I've been able to rebuild my life. I've been, trying. It was basically starting from scratch, and I've decided. I came back with a fresh perspective on things. I only want to do things that I enjoy doing. I want to do things that I can help people with.
You think Islam is at war with the West?
I think Islam hates us. There's something there that there's a tremendous hatred there. There's a tremendous hatred. We have to get to the bottom of it.
He said, remember his thing, his order when he said he was running for president, he said, we want to make an emergency ban on all Muslims coming into the United States for a certain amount of months. Now the fact that there are 7 states, predominantly Muslims, and making exceptions, and we say that in our complaint, that exceptions for minorities, aka Christians and Catholics, says you're focusing on a certain group.
The single best way to protect and to keep foreign terrorists from attacking our country is to keep these foreign terrorists from entering our country in the first place. And we will stop radical Islamic terror.
Starting a non-profit organization can be an inspiring way of giving back to the community and helping others. However, sustaining and actually growing a non-profit organization may take many years of effort and great deal of determination. I have Nabi Hayad with me, attorney and founder of the Arab American Civil Rights League and the chairman of the Arab American Civil Rights League. Nabi Hayad, you are a prominent civil rights attorney and you were a commissioner, civil rights commissioner. And tell me about the mission of the Arab American Civil Rights League.
Well, the mission of the Arab American Civil Rights League is really to protect, educate, and level the playing field for all Arab Americans in this country. We started the Arab American Civil Rights League approximately 10 years after the tragic events of 9/11. We realized that Arab Americans were more unpopular 10 years later than they were immediately after 9/11. So what that told us was we were going down in popularity. And one would think the opposite would be true. So we started to say there's a problem here. We needed to address these concerns that were happening. Each and every day we were seeing more government onslaught, more discrimination, less tolerance, less insensitivities to the Arab community. And we felt we had to take an action. This is when we started the Arab American Civil Rights League. And its short formation of over less than 6 years, we've done some wonderful things. We've challenged many different rules and regulations. We've been successful on many forefronts of addressing the issues for Arab concerns.
Well, tell me about do you think the existence of this organization now is more crucial than before?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, every day there's an inherent danger when you allow discrimination to continue. Mm-hmm. Once it continues, the general masses, the public, become immune. Yeah. That it's okay now to discriminate against Arab Americans or Muslim Americans or whatever religion, creed, or background you're from. So we wanted to make sure that we didn't want that to be the norm, that it's okay to discriminate against Arab Americans. So yes, those challenges are even more so important today than they were even after 9/11. Mm-hmm. The fact is that there are still continuing fights. The general masses out there seem as if it's okay to take certain rights of Arab Americans because we are not as popular as we were from before 9/11. Yet there's a heightened scrutiny, there's a heightened demand to make sure that we fight the intolerance and the ugly hate wherever it shows its face.
Do you think anti-Arab and anti-Muslims sentiments are on the rise now more than before?
Well, I do think so, and that comes with many different forms. I mean, believe it or not, sometimes the economy, when the economy isn't doing well, they want to blame immigrants, or they want to blame Arabs, or they want to blame Muslims, or there's less tolerance for understanding sensibilities and understanding of different religions and creeds. When there is war overseas going on, if there's some kind of enticements around the world, and they see through the media outlets, and whether the media puts a bad portrayal of Arab Americans, that hurts as well the Arab community. But everyday perceptions that are out there, whether it be the cause of media or war or whatever it may be, affects each and every one of us. And it's very important for an organization such as the Arab American Civil Rights League to continuously struggle and fight against the bigotry and I feel the hate that is taking a lot of the minds of the larger populations. Again, we must not allow them to make it as if it's the norm to do that to a certain class, because once we do that, then we all lose, and all Americans lose, not just Arab Americans.
Yes, absolutely. Nasser Baidoun, you are a businessman, and you were behind the U.S. Arab Economic Forum that happened in 2003. And while you were working as an executive director for the Arab American Chamber of Commerce, and the list goes on, tell me what got you involved in this organization? Does Nabi have something to do with it?
Of course, Nabi has something to do with it, but you know my history and my issues with Qatar and being held hostage there.
Yeah.
So I had a first-hand experience with civil rights, and then when I came back to the U.S., I wanted to see how I can help and make a difference. And Nabi, when he started this organization, he put together a real high-powered board of directors. We have some of the greatest civil rights leaders in Metro Detroit who serve on our board, such as Reverend Wendell Anthony, the president of the Detroit chapter of the NAACP, Ishmael Ahmed, who's now the dean of this community, and one of the founders of Access, as well as many other lawyers on the board. Mm-hmm. So it was important that this organization, thrive and succeed. And I thought it would be a great place to come when I came back to be part of and help the community.
Yes, Islamophobia depicts Islam as the ideological source of terrorism and hate in this country. And do you think President Donald Trump has contributed to some of the Islamophobia here?
Well, when you have a president that's a racist and supports white supremacies and Nazis, and creates backlash against immigrants by blaming Mexicans and wanting to build a wall by denying Muslims the right to come to the United States, by attacking Native Americans. He's attacked everybody except the Nazis and the white supremacists. So it's important. It's one of the leading causes of why we see such a spike in anti-immigrant, anti-Muslim, anti-Arab.
So you think he exploited fear of particularly Muslims?
I think he exploited fear of everybody. I mean, he catered to an uneducated white minority in the United States, and he was able to leverage that to get him elected with the help of the Russians, of course.
Yeah, and do you think with the ACRL or the existence of ACRL, we'll be able probably to do something, right?
Well, we're trying. We're just one small piece of the puzzle. We're a small organization. We're a relatively new organization. Yeah. But we're the only organization that's been able to, thanks to Nabi and Rola, be able to sue on behalf of the community, either the government. We filed one of the first lawsuits against the travel ban. We got the national injunction on the travel ban. So for a small organization, we pack a pretty powerful punch.
Well, it is. Your organization is about protecting the civil rights of Arab Americans. Tell me about the progress that you have made so far since you established the organization in 2011.
We can talk about the day-to-day operations of people who come into the hundreds of complaints we do on a yearly basis with individuals, to those people that have been discriminated, whether it be in the classroom, whether it be employment, whether it be in their workforce. There are those cases. On the larger front cases, we've taken on a number of laws and changed laws in a number of areas, whether it be, again, the executive order ban. We got the only permanent injunction in the world, basically, that allows it prevents immigration from allowing entry the green card holders around the world.
And how is it going so far with the executive order?
That is, we are still waiting for the Supreme Court of this country to rule on it. As you know, we have the only injunction we received in the country, and there's another case that the Supreme Court has taken up. We're waiting on that ruling.
So how many attorneys are working on this?
That case, we have about close to 20 attorneys. I was able to get together the Arab American Civil Rights League, the Arab Chamber of Commerce, the Arab Chaldean Council. We got individuals. Then we had the ACRL of Detroit join on as well. We have close to 20 attorneys on the case. Some of them have argued successfully before the United States Supreme Court, and of all backgrounds. Arabs, Muslims, Christians, Jewish, all attorneys working together for the same cause.
So are you optimistic on the case?
We are optimistic. We hope the Supreme Court does the right thing. We're expecting hopefully a ruling come back before October, sometime October, on that issue. But we've also done additional things. We've taken on the banking industry. You know, we've realized that this community, the Arab and Chaldean community, there are a lot of individuals, their banks were closing their accounts for no reason at all. Basically tell them, take your money, go somewhere else. We find that ironic when banks are paying you money to come to open bank accounts. Yeah, if you're American, Chaldean American, they're basically telling you, get out of here and go somewhere else.
So no justification for that?
Without cause of justification. We filed a class action, the American Civil Rights League filed a class action lawsuit against the banking industry.
So how long ago was that?
That was for 3.5, almost 4 years in the making. We had to make new law, reverse the Chief Judge of the Federal Court here and their decision, and when argued in Cincinnati on that, we were successful on that case. We were able to have a reasonable settlement for those individuals, and that's been resolved. And it set new law for the region of this country that you can't just discriminate against a certain class of people.
So you won basically
we won
the case. That's great.
Matter, yes. And then you have other challenges that we've taken on that the Arab American Civil Rights League. Like I said, whether it be someone in the school that's being discriminated against, whether it be a teacher, a student that's not being, whether it be someone that's being discharged, we're able to neutralize the situation, give them resignation, things of this nature.
So there are a lot of cases going on.
Oh, absolutely. There's sometimes I forget. We took on, for instance, the only football high school students playing football that were charged criminally here in the whole United States. ACRL was the force behind it. We got that case dismissed, made national news. It was the only case where they ever charged high school football players criminally. They have been here in different times. So, I mean, that's one of the examples, but we can go on and list numerous cases.
I'm sure. But tell me about the obstacles, like main obstacles, in order for you to achieve justice. I'm sure there are a lot of obstacles,
the obstacles
that you
really,
encounter.
Yeah, the obstacles really is the perception, and that's on a much larger playing field. So what ACRL tries to do, like Nasu said, we're a small organization that packs a powerful punch, and the way we do that is we challenge them, we take them on in the courts. We know that, yes, we may not have the money for the public media outbursts to change the perceptions of all Americans across the region, but we know when we take them on legally, we have good attorneys, we have a good support team, and we have a lot of individuals and dignitaries in the community that respect the organization, and judges that know what this organization stands for and who it's made of and the board it's made of. So when ACRL stands behind a certain issue, I think it sends a very strong message that it's a legitimate, very important issue to the community.
So mainly you are able to, find solutions for those obstacles in general.
We do find solutions. Sometimes it has to be through the judiciary, like I said. Sometimes we have backdoor meetings with chiefs of police or say things. And for instance, I give you an example. When the Livonia clerk, she's been there for over 30 years, made some racist remarks against Muslim Americans, immediately ACRL took to action. Our director sent a letter to the mayor. The mayor called us the next day. She resigned within 24 hours. She's been there for 30 years. That's kind of the immediate action we take.
That's great.
So it's important that we're at the forefront of a lot of these issues. So we don't let things just slide.
Yes, great. I want to ask Nasser, can you tell me about a story that touched you personally, or touched your heart through the organization?
Well, one of the cases that the ACRL took on was the no-fly list and the watch list.
Yes.
And I was, a victim of the watch list. I was put on that list. So we took that case all the way up to the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals, and are we going to the Supreme Court?
We had. I mean, there's so many cases. We won one of the only two no-fly cases in the country. ACRL did a on the Muqdad case. We made law in that region for the no-fly list, which is still challenging the watch list, which is different than the no-fly list, but still.
So what's the difference? Sorry.
One is you can't fly completely.
Okay.
And the other one is they just harass you for 3-4 hours.
3-4 hours at the
and that's what happened to you. Okay.
And then the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals says that, basically what we argued was if you're a U.S. citizen and they put you on that list, they either have to give you a reason why you're on the list or give you a way to get off the list.
And again, no reason.
No reason. They never give it to you. Your name just appears like that overnight, and you're on it, and then you have to, spend a lot of time and effort trying to get off of it. And most times you can't even get off of it. And like Nabi says, they take you through hell every time you want to travel.
Yeah.
It adds about a couple of hours to each stop at an airport.
And that's terrible.
For you.
That's terrible.
But the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that, as a U.S. citizen, it's okay if you're in this, inconvenienced for a couple of hours.
Right.
Which we feel is totally wrong because
it's the norm now. It's okay.
It's okay for Arabs or Muslims to be inconvenienced because most of the people on the watch list are, from our community. So, we're going to continue to fight that case and, basically try and change the law. The problem is, I think that when the court ruled, they looked at it, strictly as a national security issue and not a constitutional issue.
Yeah.
And, you can't do that. You can't give up your liberty for inconvenience or, to the government. You can't give up any rights to the government.
Right. How do you promote ACRL?
Well, we have a
calendar with the B on it.
Yes,
we send out.
That's it.
So every month is a different policy and different city.
So,
let me tell you, we have two events here. We have our annual dinner, annual gala, which is promotion. We have close to 1,000 people at the event. We always award some national names that come in and everything else around the country. But we also have a joint event with the largest African American organization, NAACP, in the country, Detroit here. And we both organizations have joined forces on this, being the largest concentration of Arab Americans outside of the Middle East, and being one of the largest concentrations of African Americans in the United States, and the biggest NAACP office in the country.
Yeah.
We felt we live side by side, work side by side. It's only right for us to join forces and award for what we call on Justice Night. Individuals that stood up for the Constitution, civil rights, the judges or leaders in the community.
So how do you get supporters to to support your cause, believe in your cause, and all that?
Well, we have now. It's the organization. The community and companies in the region very much believe in this organization. It's self-sustained by all the support that we get from communities, organizations, businesses, and all sorts of government. So we have support from all around, from a very wide range. That wasn't like that. I can tell you 6 years ago.
Yeah.
It was basically one or two or three individuals putting their money behind.
And I know events are great platforms, and they contribute a lot probably to your organization. So how do people reach out to you if they need help? To reach out to you or the attorneys that are affiliated with the organization?
They call the office, or they can go to the website, and Rula, usually, our executive director, she takes care of the initials, contact with the public, and then, depending on what needs to happen, she'll move it along to where it needs to go.
Okay,
and support on that note, we also, ACRL, in the wake of main issues, like we said, ACRL is always at the forefront of main issues. We have a hotline for they can't fly, the watch list and can't fly. We also have a hotline for bank closures. So we have two hotlines, one for the no-fly list or watch list, one for the bank closures.
So what's the hotline? What does it say?
1-800-188-CAN'T-FLY is the number for the hotline, the no-fly and watch list.
How would cover the expenses of those cases normally?
Well, it depends. Like we said, a lot of the times we're able to settle the cases through our resources. The mayors that we know, the judges, the chiefs of police or the commissioners, somebody that we feel there's an issue that we could help. We'll reach out to them, schedule an appointment, and take care of these issues. If it's a matter where it needs legal representation, then we have a number of volunteer attorneys that ACRL would forward over to them.
So you're saying it's a free of charge?
Well, it depends. If it's major issues to the community, like the no-fly list, the watch list, the bank closures, yes, we basically taken on those, or the travel ban. We've taken on that free of charge for the community. Okay. And it's not always easy to do. Some of these complaints are over 300 complainants, so it's a lot of work.
But sometimes does it go like through donations, support?
We raise money through the dinner. I mean, that's a big fundraiser. We could always use more money. So
because
anybody wants to donate, we'll be happy to take it.
Yeah, because some people they cannot afford, to go to court and all that, and they have a big case. So it's good to know if you guys offer, something.
Yeah, but people have to understand that we're not like, if we can help, people that have immigration issues and things of that nature.
Yeah.
If it's issues that are routine legal stuff, we could try and assist, but we don't try. We don't handle those cases. There's a lot of attorneys out there. But
we'll direct them the right way.
We'll direct them the right way, and unless there's an extreme case of poverty or issue that some circumstance that allows us to take it. But most of the time, we like to focus on cases that benefit a large portion of the community.
A lot of people don't really think about civil rights until they're really in trouble, and
exactly.
they understand the importance of civil rights and the causes. So, the community, we always appreciate those people that see that vision and understand that donations help to continue the sustainability of the organization.
I think that what makes your organization distinguished and different from any other nonprofit, because it really specializes in protecting the civil rights of the Arab Americans, which is great.
Absolutely.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Attorney Nabi Hayat, the founder of the Arab American Civil Rights Leagues, and the Chairman Nasser Waidon. Thank you really for putting the time today. And on behalf of MEA, thank you so much. Rola Aoun is the attorney and the director of the Arab American Civil Rights League. And tell me, Rola, how is your day today like at the ACRL?
It varies. One morning it could be a day of crisis. Another day it could be smooth per usual, either incoming complaints or providing legal assistance on the various casework that we do at the organization for people that come to us.
Yeah.
Sometimes we either have interviews or talks, talking on panels, educating the public on what we do and what the various issues are that affect the community.
Yeah, tell me about the gray areas and the complexity in order for you to complete the organization work.
At times it could be quite challenging. There may be some either legal difficulties or technicalities. There are certain legal issues that come to our office that we may not be able to assist with, although we would love to assist everyone that comes through our door. It's, unfortunately, we are a civil rights organization, and we can't represent and assist everyone with the very multitude of issues that come through our door, whether it be domestic or the issues vary. We try to stick to issues that either involve civil rights or have an element of some form of discrimination. If there is a particular financial need, of course, we do assist people who can demonstrate that there is a financial need for.
Oh, so you help with that too?
Sure, we sure do. If there is a demonstration for lack of financial resources, we prefer not to turn anyone away. There are not as many organizations that provide pro bono legal assistance.
So what is that exactly, pro bono?
So pro bono work is attorneys providing legal assistance to under-resourced individuals who need legal representation. This could be, whether they need help with an immigration matter and are not able to afford an attorney. It could be, a landlord-tenant matter. We seek to first resolve issues outside of court before we have to go to court.
So basically, you try your best not to turn anyone down.
We definitely do our best, unless it's a legal issue that is so far from our mission that it wouldn't be financially prudent for us to take on that kind of issue, such as, a divorce, for example. That is far enough away from what it is that we do at our organization that is probably not something that we would assist with. But immigration matters, if there are any conflicts with police or municipalities, or obviously anything that involves a deprivation of a civil right, we will step in and assist those individuals with the help of our volunteer attorneys and the various ones that are sitting on our board as well.
Obviously, you're very passionate about your work here. I'm sure you find a sense of fulfillment to be working for a nonprofit organization.
For sure. It's similar to being in private practice because, you treat each person that comes through your door as if they are your own client, and you protect them and you care about their interests. It's very rewarding to know that you are helping,
and you're doing it for a cause,
right? People in your community who are either underprivileged, who they don't have to necessarily be underprivileged. They could be someone who is extremely successful. You've heard from our chairman how someone who has an established role or a business can be affected by a no-fly list.
Yes.
That is someone who is able to pay for an attorney, but that is a role that we've taken in assisting all individuals who are confronting a particular issue that needs to be addressed in the community.
Just tell me about the short term and the long term of ACRL.
Well, in the short term, obviously, we seek to assist more and more people every year. So we, hope to go from the hundreds to the thousands. Obviously, as our funding grows, our outreach will be able to grow and take it. Although we work on national issues that affect people across the country, we would hope to have, additional offices not only across the state, but across the country as well, in locations where there are a large population of Arab and Muslim Americans.
Do you think 5 years from now or 10 years from now, we will be facing the same problems in civil rights as we are now?
Unfortunately, if there is no change in the foreign policy arena and how we do business overseas, it'll probably be a similar situation. It obviously depends on, who's sitting in the White House and what their role is to play and how they either promote or shut down these types of, the attitude and the general feel for how a community is treated in particular and viewed by that person who is sitting in the White House. Unfortunately, now it's not so great. Hopefully in the future, things take a turn and we have more positive results.
Well, at the end, I'd like to say that we can fight injustice, Islamophobia, and bigotry by embracing diversity. This is Hanan Skaf, and thank you for watching.